Hello and welcome to the Coachable Players Podcast. This podcast is built on the belief that the most successful athletes, employees, and business leaders share a trait. They are coachable. This podcast explains how the lessons of being open to feedback, growing under pressure, and leading with humility extend far beyond the playing field. With these episodes, we want to inspire listeners to embrace coachability as a lifelong skill. So, welcome. I'm your host, Jon O'Brien. We had a couple episodes lined up this week, and I was really pumped and excited about them. We had a safety director who has clients all around the world, and he was going to talk about coachability traits when it comes to construction safety. So I was excited about that. But he had a scheduling conflict, and he had to fly out to an event in Chicago. So we're going to reschedule that soon. And then I had a construction union apprenticeship director who's going to talk about coachability traits amongst apprentices. But yeah, that didn't happen either. So we're going to reschedule that as well. Okay. So since I had these episodes and I was excited, I wanted to record something. I woke up today, Saturday, and I'm like, I'll just record something. So I had some notes jotted down about journaling and how it can assist you in your career or in sports. And it's good to be a journal so you can look back on your successes and kind of measure yourself. But then during the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers named a new head coach. And I've been just laser focused on that topic alone. So I want to talk about that topic. And as a Steeler, a lifelong born and raised Steeler fan, I know the history and I love history. But there's two things that I don't think Steeler fans really appreciate about the Steelers and perhaps this selection here. So here's two things. Number one is Dan Rooney. Those that know the history, Art Rooney started the team, bought the franchise. He started the franchise back in 1933. He was a great owner, friendly, personable. He did all the right things as an owner. The only thing perhaps he did not do correctly is running a football operation. And it wasn't until the 60s when his son Dan Rooney took over and became general manager in 1969 that the playing field really matched up with the vision and the hopes for the Steeler franchise. Up until 69, the Steelers were laughable. They were a joke of the NFL. They were what the Cleveland Browns are today. That's what the Steelers were. Dan Rooney came on board. He changed the culture. He changed the leadership. I don't think there's anyone in the NFL history who understands talent better and drafting and keeping talent. I don't think there's anyone that picks coaches better. As everyone knows, it's been reported since Tomlin left, the Steelers have had 3 head coaches since 1969, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. Here's a little quote here I pulled up from Rocky Bleier. Rocky Bleier wrote an article for the Keystone Contractors Association, and he associated teamwork in construction to teamwork on the playing field. And here's what he had to say about the Rooney family and especially Dan Rooney. The Rooneys focused on leadership, people, and vision. Find the leader, take care of your people, give them a vision, and the results will follow. They had the leadership in Chuck Noll because of Dan's drafting skills and drafting expertise. They drafted 9 Hall of Famers on that team, so they had the people. Their vision was to be the best team possible, and they were the winningest team in the 70s. And in fact, to take that a step further, since 1969, the Steelers are the winningest NFL team with 535 wins. These are some of my notes I jotted down here. 535 wins, and they are the best winning percentage since 1969, a 60.3 winning percentage. And as I mentioned, that's with 3 coaches, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. Tomlin, as we all know, as Steeler fans, has taken a lot of heat the past couple of years. He has since stepped down. I think the Dan Rooney effect perhaps played a role in Tomlin taking a lot of heat that Steeler fans don't really understand, because Dan Rooney was so awesome at judging talent and being involved in the draft process. And they were one of the better drafting teams under his leadership. And that, in my opinion, and I think some others will share this opinion as well, I feel like that's gone downhill the past 10 years, 10 plus years since Dan's not around anymore. Rest in peace, Mr. Rooney. But he's not in that draft room. He's not drafting the players. And I think the skill level of players has really gone downhill. So Tomlin perhaps didn't have the best people, which is part of that Rooney focus. You need leadership, people, vision. They had the leadership in Tomlin. If you talk to any of the players, they all say they'd run through a wall for him. He knows how to motivate men. In September, I went to Ireland, ran into a couple Steelers at some pubs, and I asked them about Tomlin, and they said, I've never been around a man who could motivate other men more than Mike Tomlin. So I feel he was a great leader, and I think others share that as well, share that opinion as well. But as far as the people, because of drafting, I don't quite think they had the people. So Tomlin took a lot of heat. It's a winning profession. If you don't win, you take a lot of heat. So they haven't won in the playoffs. But Mike Tomlin did finish with the Steelers with a respectable 201 wins, 126 losses, and 2 ties. That is a .614 winning percentage. And today they named Mike McCarthy the new head coach. He has 185 wins, 123 losses, and 2 ties. That's 604, I believe, winning percentage. So Tomlin's slightly better than him in the regular season. When it comes to the postseason, Tomlin 8-12, and it's been a rough 7-8 years, in the postseason. So he finishes with the Steelers at 8-12. McCarthy, during his time with the Packers and Cowboys, is 11-11. So he's slightly better in the postseason. But yeah, my two topics, Dan Rooney, I think him missing is important to building winning teams in Pittsburgh. And it's going to be interesting to see how this new head coach plays out, because this is the first coach Dan Rooney's not involved in. So I'll be interested to see how that plays. But the other part of that, the other point I wanted to bring up is the selection of Mike McCarthy. Right off the bat, everyone's jumping, saying, oh, they're just bringing in McCarthy because they want Aaron Rodgers to come back. They want Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback for at least one more year. They had the partnership. They won a Super Bowl together in Green Bay. I don't look at it like that. I mean, it very well could happen. Anything could happen. But I think if you look at McCarthy's career, he started head coaching at Green Bay, and during his time there, they drafted a young Aaron Rodgers. He developed him into one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And perhaps they had a falling out or whatever, for whatever reason, they parted ways. So McCarthy moved on. He went to Dallas. He got Dak Prescott was his quarterback there. He developed him into a great quarterback, Pro Bowl quarterback. So I feel like both of those quarterbacks have improved play under McCarthy, which is awesome. But I do have some notes here from my phone here. But with Will Howard, I think, is the future of the Steelers. And McCarthy has proven that he's somewhat of a quarterback guru. And who knows? Let him get to Will Howard. Let those two put their minds together. Let McCarthy coach, influence him, lead him, guide him. He's proven he's kind of a quarterback, guru. Like I said here, he's worked on mechanics with Rodgers. He really perfected his release, and that he's one of the best releases I've ever seen in football. So Rodgers is awesome there. He worked on his mental game, his strategic, growth within the game, just trusting the receivers, trusting them, knowing where they're going to be. And this all came up through the ranks as he was a assistant coach and all that. So he developed those skills. He taught those skills to quarterbacks. I think it's exciting. I mean, it could go either way, obviously. But I think I'd like to give him the chance. He's a Pittsburgh guy. McCarthy's a Pittsburgh guy from Homestead. And for those that like history, if you don't know about the Homestead strike, look that up. That's an interesting story with Carnegie Steel and calling in the troops, the Pinkerton Army, Pinkerton Security Detail to resolve that strike. So there's a lot of history with Homestead, and Mike McCarthy's born and raised. It does buck the trend of Pittsburgh coaching in that he is by far the oldest coach they've had since '69 as a first-year coach. Other coaches, I don't even think they were 40 yet. I think Cowher might have been the oldest at upper 30s, maybe 37, 38 or so. I'd have to look that up. So he is on the older side when it comes to, the past couple Steeler coaches. But he does have that experience. He does have that quarterback knowledge, and he is able to develop Pro Bowl quarterbacks. So I like, with that, keeping that in mind, what he could do to the Steelers and develop Will Howard. Who knows? We might be a season or two away from playing for the Super Bowl next year. If the direction is to go with Will Howard, I think it's going to be somewhat of a learning curve. Probably still get a winning season, but it's going to be tough. And if Aaron Rodgers comes back, probably replicate what we did this year, play right around 500, sneak in the playoffs, get blown out. So I don't know. Hopefully I'm wrong. And whoever the quarterback is develops into the best quarterback in the AFC, and this is a great hire. But we shall see. But yeah, I just like to point that out for Steeler fans. The Dan Rooney factor has been so impactful and so successful for the Steelers. I'm interested to see what happens with this hire. And then number two, with McCarthy's quarterback coaching skills, I'm interested to see what he does with the quarterback, whether it is Will Howard, whether they bring Aaron Rodgers back, or whether they trade up and draft a quarterback. We shall see. We shall see what happens here. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to get an episode out there. Love the Steelers. Interesting pick for head coach, and I just wanted to share my thoughts. That's about it. If you have any questions, comments, we do have a lot of good episodes in the pipeline, so stay tuned. As always, please send your feedback. I got some good comments through email, so that's good. Keep them coming. Thanks for listening today. Until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, and stay coachable.